Hi, I'm Jacqueline Ortega and I'm from first period.
Hi, I'm Mariana Benitez and I'm from first period.
Hi, I'm Cindy Campos and I'm from 5th period.
Our compelling question was, how can we and the city of Anaheim better preserve and improve the community gardens? And our root cause was the lack of community involvement. In our supporting questions, we decided to come up with, how long have the community gardens been open? Why are the community gardens never taken care of? Who is in charge of the Wigwag community garden? Why are there fences around Wigwag? Does the community around Wigwag take care of the garden regularly, weekly, monthly, or yearly? When did the gardens become worse and worse throughout the years, even though there is someone in charge? Who created the Wigwag community garden? Why is there no council made towards the implementation of gardens around the city? Why aren't the community gardens around the city promoted to the residents of Anaheim?
As you can see here, Wigwag is not being taken care of, and looks like there is no place for people to be brought together as a community. There's an entire wall of shrubbery revolving the garden with a fence which shows that the city does not want to show how the community garden is not being taken care of. As you can see here, the website of Wigwag stated that the Wigwag community garden was open until 5 p.m. on Tuesday, but we arrived around 3:30 p.m. The entire garden was closed, and with the looks and locks still, no one was in sight, and the garden was not open with anyone coming in. This proves our point, that no one usually opens the garden for the people in Anaheim since no one really knows about it. The neighborhood across the street from the garden is in beautiful condition with perfectly aligned with plants growing all different colors with no graffiti in sight. White and put all together alley. But on the other side, the floor has trash, graffiti on the garage doors and rocky concrete that is unfortunately not even as across the street is. Nothing to compare to each other. They're both very different areas. We practice in our own gardens to show how we are able to take care of a plant life and taking care of our own garden. If 3 students from high school are able to maintain gardens in our own home, a community would be able to do so much more for their own city. At the beginning of this project, we conducted a series of interviews that went through students, parents, and adults that live in the city of Anaheim. All 5 community members stated in different ways how there is a lack of communication throughout the city, while others said that within their neighborhood they created a type of bond that brought other members together and resulted in a tight-knitted area within their own little neighborhoods. And we then came to the conclusion in our group reflection that if the city as a whole comes together to create a community garden committee, we can beautify it and create a group of people that are all bond together and make a city that is more involved with gardens and other types of produce.
We sent out a letter to Anaheim City Council, more specifically to Harry Sidhu. The letter spoke about how we were working on the Civic project regarding Wigwag, as we have noticed how completely abandoned and neglected the area was. We presented statistics about how the garden was established, but nothing was done to continue to preserve it.
We chose to conduct a survey that we sent out to juniors through freshmen. We chose to exclude the group of seniors. In the grade, as you can see, most of the people that took part in the survey were freshmen, with 54% of them being freshmen. The first question we asked was, how many community gardens do you think are in the city of Anaheim? And a majority of the people thought that 3 gardens were present, with that being at 33%. The people that chose 4 were correct, but rarely any people knew that. The next question we asked was, do you know the name of any of these gardens? With 93% of the people not knowing, have you ever passed by a garden is our next question. 44% of people aren't even sure if what they saw was a garden. The next question we asked was, would you participate in a community garden committee? 42% of them said maybe, but if presented, maybe they would like to join. Do you feel that there should be more gardens in the city of Anaheim? 82% of people said yes. And that is something that we would like to invest our time. And what we have been doing is starting gardens in our own homes so that we can practice.
How long have you lived in the city of Anaheim?
Since 2004.
Well, I used to live in Anaheim a while ago. I lived there for 4 years.
How long have you lived in Anaheim?
Too long.
Do you know of any community gardens in the city of Anaheim?
Wigwag Community Gardens.
No, I'm aware of no community gardens in Anaheim, at least in the time that I lived there.
Do you know of any community gardens in Anaheim?
No.
Do you know any other community gardens?
Not that I'm aware of.
If community gardens were to be implemented around the city, do you feel as though it would bring the community members together?
No, not necessarily.
Why?
Because people are busy doing their own thing.
If community gardens were to be implemented around the city of Anaheim, do you feel as though it would bring in more community members together?
Yes.
Why?
It'll give people the opportunity to meet new people and bond with each other.
Would you create your own community garden?
Yes.
Would you ever consider creating your own community garden?
Probably not. I have a brown thumb.
I actually love gardening. Believe it or not, working with students is wonderful, but you kids stress us out sometimes. So in addition to cooking, when I get home, one of the things I like to do, my whole family does, is we have a garden in the front yard, the side that faces the sun, and it's mostly flowers, edible flowers, but they look decorative. And in the back, we have some vegetables, but chilies and that kind of stuff. But we change them about twice a year. We change them. And right about now, since it's spring, we're just about ready to plant the new stuff for the spring and fall.
We created a blog that's titled Beautify Your Community Gardens, where we spoke about the progress and steps we took to overcome obstacles that came in the way of promoting the implementation and preservation of community gardens. We also talked about the steps we took and how we conducted a survey and our trip to Wigwag, where we went throughout the past months and saw that no changes were being made by the city or the committee itself to improve the garden. We then ended our blog with talking about getting to know us and then the actions that we decided that we wanted to take and how we can go on from here talking to the city to extend this message to them. The only steps the city has taken towards the implementation of preservation of community gardens around the city is by posting all the community gardens addresses and email information on the Anaheim website, but there hasn't been any further action. By that we mean there hasn't been any promotion around the city or movement in the committees within the gardens. According to the OC Weekly, Wigwag was a 2012 community garden project that also launched the other 3 gardens but have now stopped. Now Wigwag has stopped operating and they are still waiting for reservations to be done. And lastly, here's our bibliography with all of our sources.